And welcome back to the NFL Today, everyone. I'm Jim Nantz, along with Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert. Coming up in just a few moments, our doubleheader games. The Jets are in San Francisco, where 49er receiver Jerry Rice is making his return to action. The Dolphins take on the Colts as Peyton Manning makes his professional debut at quarterback. And Buffalo is in San Diego, where Ryan Leaf will also be making his first NFL start. All right, it's getting right down to the wire at some of these sites right now. There's Jerry Rice warming up, and I know, Brent Jones, you're out of practice this week. You almost put the uniform back on, but this guy is ready to play.
He is going to explode today, Jim. He's going to look to catch the earliest pass in the game, probably the first pass. It's going to go to Jerry. He's going to bounce up after he gets hit, be ready to go and continue that Hall of Fame career.
Meanwhile, Peyton Manning, just minutes away from his first snap.
Okay.
There is a thriller, however, taking place at Soldier Field. The Bears trying to hold on against Jacksonville. Just seconds remaining with the Bears in front, 23-17, and Jacksonville inside of the 5. And just as we say that, a touchdown pass from Mark Brunell to Jimmy Smith with 29 seconds remaining and the extra point to come. They're celebrating on the sidelines there at Soldier Field, the visiting Jacksonville Jaguars, who have struggled all day long against the Bears, who are huge underdogs. In fact, let's show you this play. They haven't even attempted the extra point. We're going to show you the play. There it is, the tail end of it. Smith, and that was a 4-yard pass play from Brunell, his second touchdown pass of the day for the quarterback. And the extra point by Mike Hollis is good. So Jacksonville leads, just 29 seconds remaining, and the Bears, they'll need another big kick return from Glenn Milburn. He returned one in the first half, 88 yards for a touchdown, but the Bears, with just such an upstart performance here today, George, that many really didn't expect.
No, that's for sure, and this often happens. We're a team that's heavily favored to go into a stadium, especially early in the season. Chicago's fired up, everybody's ready to go. They put forth a great performance, and all of a sudden here comes Jaguars right back taking control of the ball game.
George, that's why it's so important to play 60 minutes. I mean, they played well throughout the entire game and gave it up at the end. Oh, this is a heartbreaking defeat for them if they lose.
Yeah, and you know, we've been talking about the quarterbacks we're going to be seeing, the rookies, Leaf and Manning, but there was a rookie at running back who really helped the Bears in the second half. Looked like he might give them that lift they needed to win here today, Brent.
Sure did. He got the fans at Soldier Field excited. Jim Curtis Enos came in, made some big plays. You know, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding him being late to camp and some of his negotiations. He stepped up big time today, went from the doghouse to the penthouse. He got those Soldier Field fans yelling and screaming again.
In fact, on the last touchdown drive for the Bears, he carried it really all the way down to the goal line before the former Packer Edgar Bennett took it across. Enos with 9 carries, 49 yards here in the second half. All right, Pittsburgh and Baltimore has gone final. The Ravens trying to put something together in the last 3 minutes, but they come up short. Tell you, one guy who's not flying so high, Jim Harbaugh. He strained the finger on his throwing hand in the first half and was replaced. Eric Zier had to go the rest of the way for the Ravens. Cordell Stewart, well, there you see Harbaugh. He was not able to return.
That's so tough for Jim to grip the ball after that injured finger.
Cordell Stewart, 2 picks in the first half, but he came back, kept it for 1 score in the second half and threw for another. And then the Ravens got a touchdown pass from Zier to Lewis with 2:48 remaining, but unable to do any other the rest of the way. No more threats the rest of the way.
Well, it seems like when Harbaugh went out, they just lost their momentum and they were never able to regain it, and thus they didn't win.
All right, elsewhere now. Some of the finals still coming in. Tennessee and Cincinnati. This one not a final. Just under 2 minutes to go. Another quarterback story here, and that's Aaron McNair. He injured an elbow on his his throwing arm. His right elbow has been x-rayed. He did not return. He's been replaced by David Craig, but there's Neil O'Donnell to Darnay Scott in the first half, and that gave the Bengals the early lead. While McNair was still in there, he did find Willie Davis for a touchdown toss.
Jim, David Craig comes in for McNair and starts really moving the team, does pretty well. I don't know if he's the long-term answer. I think that McNair definitely is going to be missed.
There's Craig handing off to Eddie George, who plows across from 3 yards out. That gave him the lead, and Del Greco having a good day, 3 for 3 for the Oilers, and they lead now with 1:48 remaining. Cincinnati has the football. Yep, Cincinnati. Washington and the Giants. 2 minutes to go, and the Redskins trying to mount a late charge here. The Giants led 31-17, but the Redskins, too, going with a backup quarterback as Gus Frerotte injured both shoulders, just brutally hit on 1 sack. Knocked out of the game, and Trent Green has replaced him because Jeff Hostetler, their normal number 2, is also out going into the game. Seattle blitzes Philadelphia, and the Eagles Well, just horrible today. Hoying had a pass picked off, run back for a touchdown. Warren Moon threw for 3 scores, 2 of them to Joey Galloway, and the Eagles suffer their worst opening loss since 1933. We'll continue on the NFL Today in just a moment. All right, Jim Nantz back here in our NFL Today studios in New York. I want to welcome those of you who watched the Steelers register an opening day victory over the Ravens, 20-13, and Jim Harbaugh went out with an injury. We've had 5 starting quarterbacks already knocked out of their games today.
Jim, it's tough to have the leadership out on the field. Jim Harbaugh, the big leader for the Ravens, has a dislocated finger. It's tough to grip the ball, tough to throw it. And they never really got it going on offense today.
Well, frankly, the theme of the day is defense, and that's what Steelers do best, and they've really done a good job of stopping the Ravens.
All right, the most impressive performance so far today turned in by Seattle. Now, they had been blown out the last 3 years in openers by an average of 35-7. Today, they give the Eagles their worst opening loss since 1933. Bobby Hoying was picked off early, run back for a touchdown by Sean Springs. In fact, the next time they had it, the next series, Hoying fumbled. Warren Moon didn't take long here, did he, Coach?
No, not all. He hooks up, beats Troy Vincent, hooks up with Bobby Galloway. Touchdown. They do it later on in the game as well.
Well, Irving Fryer really sums up the day. He said, I've seen bad before, but his team is bad. So the only bright spot for them was Dooley, the halfback.
Warren Moon in the second half at age 41 hooks up again with Galloway. Moon with 3 touchdown passes in all. And Seattle slams the Eagles 38-0. Detroit and Green Bay. We had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in this game. Terry Fair, the rookie of the Lions, out of Tennessee, 101 yards, but then it was later matched by Roll Preston. And here he is, Terry Fair up the middle. Remember Mel Gray, how he used to do this for the Lions?
Well, there's some fine blocking there in the middle initially to set that man free.
Albeit briefly, the Lions were back in the game. However, on the ensuing kickoff, Bobby Ross would not believe it. Here comes Preston for the Packers.
Well, you better hold your breath. This is a rarity. You don't see this in football games. One return after the other.
He did a heck of a job, too, setting up that block, waiting for that blocker to get out in front, take out the kicker, just cut back across field, walks into the end zone, dives into the end zone.
Actually, leaps into the end zone.
It shows the competitive spirit of the Green Bay special teams.
Barry Sanders held under 100 yards, 70 yards in all today, and the Packers win it. We've had 3 kick returns for touchdowns here in the early games overall. Minnesota, with quarterback Brad Johnson throwing 4 touchdown passes. They blow out the Bucs of Tony Dungy. Many had thought Tampa Bay was a Super Bowl caliber team. Certainly not today here, Marcus. Watch this. Randy Moss, his first touchdown. What a memorable one it was.
What concentration in traffic. The guy can do everything you want to. I think he's going to be the NFC Rookie of the Year. Hey, football's Rookie of the Year.
What happened to that Tampa Bay defense, though? They got just gassed by the Vikings today in the great passing game.
Yep, Johnson again, 4 touchdown passes. Moss caught 2 of them, and Minnesota wins at home 31-7. Last year, these two split with both teams winning on the road. Atlanta and Carolina just going final, and the Falcons get 2 touchdown passes from Chris Chandler, beating Carolina 19-14. The Saints trying to hold on. They jumped in front 24-0. In fact, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown by Joe Johnson to start things off. Johnson just signing this week. Scores a touchdown there at the top of the day. Rams would come back with 2 unanswered touchdowns. Under 2 minutes to play, and the Saints up 10. Rams had 4 consecutive season-opening wins coming into this one. And Jacksonville and Chicago has gone final now, with the Jaguars winning it in the final 30 seconds. Such a feisty performance by the Bears today, the biggest underdogs today going in week 1, but the Jaguars pull it out at Soldier Field.
So somehow, some way, they figured out a way to win the football game.
A Mark Brunell touchdown pass to Jimmy Smith won it with 29 seconds to go. All right, Pittsburgh over Baltimore, 20-13, and take us through this one. Brent?
Well, definitely having trouble early on. Jim Harbaugh going down with a dislocated finger. He's the field leader out there. He wasn't able to grip the ball too well, couldn't throw it. Eric Zier had to come in and just didn't move the offense as well as expected today.
And Pittsburgh, like it did last year, had a big second half. Cordell Stewart keeping it from 1 yard out. He also threw for a touchdown, holding on for the victory there, 20-13. Well, coming up, it's the Jets and the 49ers to most of the nation, plus the Dolphins and Colts to some parts, or the Chargers and the Bills. And we'll get you out to your game as the NFL on CBS continues after this word from your local station.